Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching our videos from Parker, Arizona and others that we already posted. I really appreciate your support. I think we owe all of you a little bit of introduction. So my name is Milana and I live
I'm Jim.
and this is Jim, my husband. Of course, Jim was born and raised in the United States. He came to Arizona from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, while I am originally from Kazakhstan, which you probably can tell from my accent. So what you see behind us is the Gila River Indian community that belongs to two Indian tribes, Pima and Maricopa Indian tribes who live here. It's a big, vast piece of land. The point of this trip is to take you to the historical town of Florence in Arizona. So we are going to show you a little bit of surroundings around this community, and then we will see what we can show you on the way. Okay, so here's a typical Arizona landscape with mountains and cacti and brush, a big blue sky above. It is 100 degrees now, which is around 37 degrees in Celsius. So not too hot by Arizona standards. There's a lot of agricultural activity in this area. So you can see a feedlot for cattle. That's where the cattle gets fed before they go for the market. So right now it appears to be empty, so it's not the season. Oh, manure piles. So they're just covered with something to compost them. Then they sell it to local farmers. So we are about to leave the Gila River Indian community and we are entering the town of Coolidge. Even though the town itself is about 8 miles away. This is all agricultural land, so here in Arizona the most commonly grown crops are alfalfa, maize or corn and cotton. There was a lot more cotton grown here in the past, and that's some of you might know. You might buy shirts or bedding, which says that it is Pima cotton, so it is a famous high quality cotton.
First started growing here, it grew real well. Town of Goodyear, which has the same name as Goodyear Tire and Rubber. That's where they started a plant, and they would use the cotton to make tires for World War II. And so that's how cotton got introduced to Arizona and became one of the 5 C's of Arizona.
What are the other 4 C's? Copper, cotton, cattle, climate, and what else?
Cotton, I forget the last one.
Cotton, copper, cattle, climate. Oh, something else. What are we forgetting?
I'm a bad Arizonan.
Yay, we remembered. Okay, so it is cotton, copper, cattle, climate, and citrus, because there were plenty of orange groves all along here in Maricopa County and Phoenix neighborhoods, but it's going away.
They turned into houses.
Yeah, so a lot of citrus groves get removed and housing for humans is being built, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes.
Ruins, you might catch a glimpse of somewhere.
Okay,
On the road.
You might be able to see the top of it way in the back.
Probably closed today.
Yeah, over there you can see the roof, but
Building.
yeah, the building is over there, so as you get in the Coolidge, you can see right behind the sign. You should be able to see it. Jim is going to tell us where we are now.
This is Casa Grande National Monument. They're prehistoric ruins. They don't know much about the people other than they just call them Hohokam, which means those that went away, because they don't know really what happened to them. Whether they got dispersed. There was a river ran through here, and so they were agricultural and did a lot of farming. So whether the river dried up, changed courses, they're not quite sure what happened, but they're doing their best to preserve the ruins in the state that they were found. Back in the 30s, 20s, 30s, it was just open out in the desert, and so you'll see graffiti on it. But they've made it a national monument, at least since I've been here in the mid-70s.
Thank you. So let's go and look at it. There's a very nice signage here in the museum. They sign what type of plants are planted here. So this is eagle claw barrel cactus in bloom. You can see beautiful yellow flowers, which are always enjoyed by pollinators, local bees. And this is mesquite tree, which is native to Arizona and parts of Mexico. This is an Oya pot, which was used to transport and store water. And this is an actual pot, which was found on this site during the excavation. So here's the photo of the site where exactly it was found. So because it's so hot, the museum provides umbrellas for visitors to take and shade themselves from the sun. So my mom found one and she's happy, looking good. Okay, it's a good idea, that without doubt.
Going to give you a little tour of the Casa Grande, which in Spanish is Grand House. But as we walk up to it, you're going to see some partial adobe structures. This is what's left that they made the rendering from the different buildings. Now they've stabilized the adobe to try to keep any further deterioration from happening. As you can see, we had rain amazingly for the first time in 120 days just a few days ago, so they've had to cover some up. They were probably having some issues, but we'll take you on up to the big house. But these were all buildings that originally stood. Time has just taken them away, so they can only guess at what they were used for or what they did with them, whether they were dwellings. But this is how you could have been living back in the 1400s in America.
And there is mom. She's just walking pretty, like a model. It's a model walk with a beautiful yellow umbrella.
All right, we're approaching the big house or grand house. Great house. It can be interpreted several different ways. Ilana's going to turn the camera. You'll see we're up to it. Again, they don't know whether this was used for ceremonial use. This was the biggest of the buildings, so whether it was ceremonial, whether it was a meeting room, meeting place, they just really don't know much about the Hohokam. Some of this stuff, like this stairway, this was put in so they could go in. They did some stabilizing of it, did a little reconstruction. But that obviously is a lot more recent. You can see from the walls what they originally looked like, and then just how they found them. A nice smooth surface has been redone to show you what it would have looked like.
So you can see that before this became a national monument, people did not really value these ruins that much. They came here, they wrote stuff on the walls. So you can see somebody in 1871,
J.W. Ward.
J.W. Ward came here probably with his buddies or family and thought that it will be fun to inscribe something on the walls of this monument.
The local ranchers knew this was here, and they would take a Sunday afternoon buggy ride out and climb all over it, have picnics. It was a mild tourist attraction to them. Back then, people didn't come from far and wide to see it, but the locals knew it was here. This is part of what the interior looked like. One of the rooms. There were many rooms in it. And again, as I said, they really don't know what it was used for. Could have been for the grain stores. Could have been if they were attacked someplace that they all gathered and it could easily defend. Nobody knows.
We are leaving the Casa Grande, but as a last street, here's a rock with some petroglyphs on it. 1,000 years old. And off we go to continue on our journey. We are in the town of Coolidge, where my husband spent a lot of days of his turbulent youth. And this is the Tags Cafe. We've been here several times before. It's nice, kind of like a diner, local eating experience. So it looks like they're open today, which is amazing considering that this is Monday, Labor Day. But it says they are open daily from 7 to 2, so we are pushing it, but it's not 2 yet. Oh, really? Thank you. So this is Tags Cafe that we were talking about. My husband spent his youth in this town. He worked actually in the prison here. And we've been stopping here once in a while in the previous times. It is just an excellent, wonderful old cafe. Exists here for a long time, and the food usually is very, very good here. But you can find a few locals here, and it's just very nice experience. So there we go. What do you want, Mom?
Coca-Cola products?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you want Coke? I will have iced tea with lemon, please.
You want unsweet?
Unsweetened.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So 2 Cokes and 1 iced tea?
Yep, thank you. Okay, so let me introduce you to the menu. This is Tag Cafe beverage, toast and stuff. You can see the prices. Breakfast items, common for the diners. Omelets, pancakes, but we are at lunch. Here's the common lunch menu. Salads. Here's the Mexican food, of course, for Arizona, and different side orders. So we'll make a choice. So Jim ordered absolutely gorgeous thing, which I want a piece of. This is a taco salad in a beautiful taco shell, and Mom ordered a whole bunch of things. So she has a tamale and enchilada with beans and rice. This is Mexican dish served with tortillas, and she is filming too. And I ordered very plain but very standard Mexican fare. This is bean and cheese burrito. So we're going to enjoy our lunch. Okay guys, we stopped on the way to Florence. We are almost there, and just wanted to show you this old building here, and of course just as old saguaro cacti here, standing tall. But this is what the old adobe looked like. That's how they used to build houses, using the clay from the desert mixed with some straw and some sand. In the back we see some ran down, looks like some house or business, that
Abandoned house.
old abandoned one. And on the other side, across the street, you can see that fancy colorful place full of bougainvillea plants, and it has a beautiful fountain. This is Greek monastery. That's where
Owned by the Greek monastery.
it's owned by the Greek Orthodox Church.
45 years ago, this used to be an old bar. That was my first job when I moved to Arizona, and been there since 1937. And because the husband and wife got divorced and they couldn't decide on a settlement, the judge ordered the property to be sold, and the building got torn down, and the Greek monks bought it for a park for themselves.
So guys, as we are approaching Florence, we will see what is the prison complex. So the Arizona State prison is located here. We are going to see it soon. We already can see the towers and water towers. So the round tower is the main prison. There are also several private prisons in this complex. So as we go around, we can see the great buildings in the back. So Jim worked in this prison in his 20s. There it is. Fencing. There it is. Florence State Prison and the private prisons ahead of us. So we can take a better view of the state prison. Yep, Florence, that's the prison where Jimmy used to work. There are, of course, a lot of people who work in the prison live here. This town is naturally one of the safest towns to live in. It's very well secured and protected. There are some breakouts from the prison once in a while, but not very common.
The minimum security area here.
This minimum security area. Right here. We just drove by it. This is it, the whole thing, Mom. Right here in front of you. Okay guys, we're going to see the historic courthouse. We're going to stop there. It's one of the oldest courthouses in Arizona. Hi guys, so we left our car at the parking lot and now we are walking towards the historic courthouse of the town of Florence. It's one of the oldest courthouses in Arizona, and Jim is going to tell you an interesting story related to that clock on the top of the tower.
The clock never moves. Local legend had it that back in the early 1900s, they hung a somewhat overweight woman and popped her head off, and that's when the clock stopped. Truth is, there is no actual clock mechanism in the tower, so the clock was never functional, but it's just an urban legend of why it doesn't move.
The clock was never installed, and that's why it's never going anywhere. It's always showing one and the same time, so it's accurate probably at least twice a day.
And you should know that Florence was one of the first territorial capitals of the Arizona Territory. Yeah. It was on the main stagecoach route in between Tucson and Phoenix, which the road we just came off of, that was a stagecoach route. And this has been settled in here since the mid-1800s. Not sure the courthouse, I think, dates back to the 1930s. But that's all I can tell you about that.
Cool. Here is historical downtown, an old historical hotel.
American Legion, been here forever.
Yeah. Silver King Marketplace, the white shop. Main Street, because it's like Main Street, главная улица. Yeah.
I used to work at that bar when it was open in the bar.
Yeah.
No.
I know. It's Irish Cowboy.
Closed today too.
Yeah. Well, holiday Labor Day.
Used to be the library.
The
Tall
Labor
building. Drive-through liquor store still exists.
Yeah, memories. Yep. Most things are closed today because of the holiday, and Monday too. Some of these places are not open on Mondays. Anyhow. Oh, the Station Coffee Company seems to be open. Historical downtown, food market. They have gourmet subs and sandwiches here. Couple of locals. Water tower. Family in the park. Florence High School, older building, and then we could see also the newer structures. It's a nice looking school, and looks like a Mormon church. Burger King and the end of Florence. Okay guys, we'll take you on an old rural road here. Want to find some spot that we went to some time ago. Well, some time ago, Jim and I stopped at this place here in Florence. I don't even remember why we ended up here, but we found this very old cemetery which has some graves which date way back, and it was very interesting. So we wondered if we could find it again, and apparently it wasn't that difficult to find. So we are going to show it to you. I think it's kind of fascinating. And here's the warning sign. We're in the desert, so we can encounter all kind of critters here, and those critters are usually not very friendly. So may end up just like these folks. Okay. So this is how old these graves are. Just leftovers of small town that was here.
Focused on that.
They couldn't even identify this person.
Mesquite pods all over the ground.
Yep. So as we told you before, mesquite trees provide these pods which Native Americans in ancient times used to grind and make flour. They're edible. Some animals eat them. Jim broke one apart to show that, yeah, but there's that inside starchy kind of heart of it that can be ground into flour. Well,
not easily though.
Not easily though. Not a job for the modern person. Okay, so there are a few paths here. There are not that many of graves left at this gravesite. So let's see if we can find. So this is pretty recent, 2012, 2013. So
Dog.
it's a dog's grave, yeah, good dog. So somebody used it to bury their best friend here. Apparently best friend was pretty big sized. Rest in peace, Luger. I'm sure you were a good dog. All dogs are good. There's no bad dog. And this is the reveal of the name of this place, Butte View Cemetery. Rest in peace, folks. I guess we can't see it behind the trees, but there is the butte behind there over there. Yeah, right there. I think that's the butte over there. Yep. So there's the old historic cemetery. Coming back to Coolidge. No, it's not corn. I think it's maybe soy, Mom. Soybean, yeah. Because it's not the season for corn or anything like that.